The April 4th episode of Friday Night SmackDown featured a face-to-face promo between Charlotte Flair and Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton ahead of their collision at WrestleMania 41. This went off the rails as everyone witnessed, everyone has seen, everyone has talked about. It's been reported that there was very little that was actually played out that was originally scripted on the rundown for this promo. It absolutely unraveled and not went the way that it was supposed to. Comments were made by both parties involving their personal lives, including the recent divorce of Charlotte Flair from fellow WWE star Andrade. The pair interrupted each other several times, and Flair made light of the moments where Stratton would stumble over her words and try to get any reaction possible. Now, Fightful Select reports that the reaction from higher ups in WWE were not positive, nor did they stick the blame on any of the two individually, but instead, both women were under fire from management. Now, according to this report, those in WWE were very unhappy with both Flair and Stratton after this segment, and the online versions of this segment, they were heavily edited out. And WWE did not want to put any further light on this situation, and you can't necessarily blame them. Now, John Alba noted on Twitter that he had heard that the situation was contentious backstage, even though higher ups in the company were just looking on and seeing how this was all going to play out. Now, it remains to be seen whether or not WWE ends up punishing these two stars, but I said this in a previous video, and I will say it once again. I understand that that got personal. I understand that both got upset. I understand that there is a lot of interesting feelings going around these two. However, regardless of those feelings, you have to put business first. You can take it personally and you can get upset, but next Friday, you best believe that Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton will be on television. Will they be interacting with each other? Maybe, maybe not. But WrestleMania is 2 weeks away. We are on the final stretch, and WWE is going to have these two in the ring wrestling. And Charlotte Flair is going to win and win the women's championship, or Tiffany Stratton's going to win and retain the women's championship. Regardless of personal feelings, regardless of punishment that comes out of this segment, they will be in the ring. They will be mixing it up and they will be trying to put on the best match possible. And we will move on from this segment. This is not the first time that Charlotte Flair has been doing something like this, but at the end of the day, you have to move on and you have to get to the match. And then, you know what? You two don't have to work with each other for a while, right? Like that's just how it's going to go, unless they do a rematch at Backlash, which is possible, whatever the pay per view is after WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes recently spoke about The Rock in an interview, and I wanted to talk about it here. Now, following the events of WrestleMania 40, many expected that Cody Rhodes would be heading into WrestleMania 41 this year to take on The Rock. However, reports have ruled out The Rock from competing at WrestleMania, and obviously, Cody is on the collision course with Elimination Chamber winner and recently turned heel John Cena at WrestleMania for the championship. Now, since Elimination Chamber, The Rock has not appeared on television, nor has he really been mentioned on television, which is a criticism of mine and many regarding the John Cena Cody Rhodes program. Regardless, Cody Rhodes doesn't want to close the door on a chapter with The Rock. And why would you? Instead, he's doubling down because while appearing on Part of My Take, Rhodes stated that he feels like The Rock can still go in the ring and that he needs at least two matches to get done before he can walk away from this industry. What are those two matches? Well, of course, one is with Cody Rhodes and the other is with The Rock, and this is what he had to say. I'm a little bit of a egocentric individual that wants his win back. I think he's due for one more match, and I would love to be penciled in on one of those. Obviously, that schedule is intense as it gets, but he's still so involved with WWE. He could easily been the final boss and just kind of taken that as a customary title, but he has really gotten his hands involved in what we're doing. Even though we may not like one another, the thing I do like about him is instantly, no matter what he's done, record breaking Disney movie, whatever he did that weekend and showed up, when you look at him, you can tell, oh, brother is a wrestler. It's in there. It's hitting the ropes and what the reaction you get from doing wrestling moves in a ring and the promo and the interview. I really enjoyed that connection with him. I'd like to be one of those. I think he has 2 matches that he has to do. I'm not putting any pressure on anyone, but I think he does. I'd love to see him and his cousin Roman Reigns ever have this encounter. Maybe it's the greatest match we've never get because timing and whatever it is may be. And I think we need to finish our story with him and myself. We shall see. Yes, that is 100% right. You have to do Cody Rhodes versus The Rock, I believe. That should have been this match this year, but The Rock, he is such a busy individual that I think he desperately wants to do pro wrestling, but his schedule is all filled up. And would you rather make, $80 million a year talking, or would you rather make, 10 million from wrestling and put your body and your life on the line, right? Like there's a lot to that and insurance, everything like that. The Roman Reigns match, we're never going to get. The closest that we ever got to it was last year, and the fans, they got all upset about it and they wanted Cody in, and I don't blame them, but we're not getting that match, right? We're just not. So it's unfortunate, but I. And finally, Kevin Owens. Oh, Kevin Owens. So he revealed on this week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown that he recently suffered a neck injury and needs surgery. He's going to be out of WrestleMania. He's not going to be working Randy Orton, and he's going to go get surgery. Now, he did an interview, an amazing interview. I did 3 transcriptions, probably 4 for Wrestling News Co. talking about this. We were one of the first ones to get it up, and I was very proud of that. He had gold in this interview. He absolutely crushed it. And he was talking about how the injury happened. He revealed that it actually happened in January. He said, I'm going to tell you it happened on a regular match. No hardcore things, nothing. There were 2 very simple things that I've done a million times. I felt great. But then in January, I had a match, and in that match, 2 things happened that really jarred my neck. That's when the issue started. I didn't land on my head. I didn't get injured. Nothing felt wrong at the time. Owens noted that he had a full body MRI in December, and that showed nothing and no major issues outside of the general wear and tear that many of us endure, and obviously wrestlers as well. And then and this one hit me in the feels. So, and quick side note, so he worked 2 SmackDown matches, one against Jimmy Uso and one against Ray. I think it was the 17th and the 24th of January. And then he did the Royal Rumble match with Cody, which was brutal. And then he did obviously the unsanctioned match with Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber. So it happened on one of those SmackDown matches. He then dived into something that really hit me, and I even thought about DMing him, just apologizing, but I didn't want to necessarily take the risk of him just blasting me on social media, even though I was trying to be genuine. He talked about how it really upset him that news broke the morning of the announcement. So we woke up Friday, it's mid-morning, and PWN comes out with a report saying, hey, there's a match that is up in the air for WrestleMania. It's in jeopardy due to injury. And it was very cryptic, and I didn't run with it because it's too cryptic. I need a name at least, right? And then they followed up and said, oh, it's Kevin Owens. And then you started getting other reports of, hey, Kevin's got a neck injury. Oh, Kevin's got a serious neck injury. Oh, Kevin Owens is out of Mania. It's like, oh, dang. So as a news reporter, you have to run with that. You have to report that, right? And he took issue with the fact that the news broke that morning, and he was upset because he did not get to announce it. And I totally get that. And I had mixed emotions, but it's like, hey, man, I understand where you're coming from. I really do. It's not our place to announce that, but at the end of the day, you have to report it. It's one of those, like, with releases, I absolutely hate writing about releases. I hate talking about it. I don't like it, but it's part of the gig, right? There's a lot of things in life you don't like. There's a lot of pros, there's a lot of cons. That was one of them. Releases or injuries, I do not like writing about. It is not fun because, it changes the course of someone's life. It physically affects them, emotionally affects them, so it's just not fun, but